So boom, this is another installation of TTM chat. We've got the legendary Johnny Juice Rosado in the house, and blessing us with some jewels. So tell us about your journey as a DJ, and where that started, where that came out of, like what got you into DJing.
Well, I was a musician when I was younger, and I'm Puerto Rican, so everybody's a musician in Puerto Rican household. My grandfather was a percussionist, my uncle was a percussionist, and they always would pass out the instruments at Christmas, and so you kind of take towards the instrument that you feel more comfortable with. And I ended up getting the bongos. Now the bongos were my grandfather's, right? Which he passed away in '86, but I still have his bongos. Wow. So he gave them to me on his deathbed, and everybody had their little thing, but I ended up sticking to that. I was a percussionist. And I had a cousin named Benji. Benji had a couple of turntables and mixers, but he wasn't a scratch DJ. This was, the late '70s, early '80s. So I wanted equipment, but my mom was really broke. So, but when I saw him rock, I'm like, I can do that. And I wanted to do it. So I would go to his house, or whoever had turntable house. There wasn't that many people with turntables. And I would wait till they would go to the bathroom, or go or go smoke some weed. And I would jump on the turntables and do whatever I could until they got back. Like, all right,
that's great.
So that was my introduction to the turntables.
Wow, that's great. So, and who were your early influences? Because a lot of people are saying like, people try to talk about the Sedgwick stuff, but now there's a guy named Michael Wayne TV, who, I don't know if you heard of Michael Wayne TV, where he's kind of pushing the theory. He's saying like, Bronxdale really set things off, and talks about Disco King Mario, and he feels that him maybe being Puerto Rican and stuff people weren't pushing his name, with all the hip hop books and all those things out there. Nobody ever talks about Disco King Mario and Bronxdale and all that stuff. What were your early influences?
Well, I lived at the time in Michelangelo houses, which is 149th and Morris. But I was from Patterson Project. So, we lived in Patterson. And then I moved from Patterson to Michelangelo right at the block. So I was 144th and Morris. And that was the area known as Mod Haven, and it was run by the Casanovas.
Oh, okay.
And Flash used to DJ.
Oh, okay, so you used to see him early.
He would come out to the park, and he would rock, and that's where I was seen.
Wow. What years was that?
This was the late '70s.
Late '70s, wow. See, get that, '70s. Because a lot of people think hip hop started in the '80s. When the Wild Styles and movies. The average person, they don't realize cats were doing all this stuff in the '70s.
Well, technically, hip hop did start in the '80s because hip hop as a culture.
The name. I'm just talking about like cats. DJing and cutting it up and stuff like that. I think that most, like, if you ask some kid in like China, Japan, or from far away, I think a lot of people think, hip hop came out of like mid '80s culture or something, Well,
we were discussing that. I was discussing that with Tony Tom from Coconut Brothers recently, and Rob Swift, who teaches a great class at the New School. And we were like, why is Herc's Party in '73? Like ground zero for that, if people were doing this before. Because keep in mind, I mean, I'm a DJ, I've been DJing, and if I went to a party today, chances are I'm doing stuff that I did the last party.
Exactly.
So if Herc did that the last party he was DJing at, why was Cindy's party
first?
The first.
Exactly.
I talked to Hollywood a lot, and Hollywood says I was doing that too. Exactly. So now it doesn't now it's less of a situation where you're trying to figure out what was the ground zero for the creation of hip hop, but more so, what do you consider hip hop? And if your definition is a culture with everything combined, then technically that would be the '80s because that's when the band decided to umbrella everything. If you want to say '73 because of Herc's Party, but why that party? Now Herc's, apparently the thing that separated him from the rest of the DJs was playing the break. Extending the break. Now he didn't do it seamlessly. Flash was the first guy to do it.
Oh, okay.
Flash actually came up with the clock theory where he would rewind it and let it go so that it was a seamless like loop. But Herc didn't know how to do that. You know, so that's not how Herc looped it. You know, he didn't loop it. He would just play it over. But that doesn't mean that it was seamless.
Yeah.
The thing is, if that is the reason why that's hip hop, because the break was extended, then why was the break extended? Now, there's theories saying that Herc's from Jamaica and they always did that. Wrong. Jamaican DJs did not extend breaks. Jamaican DJs would rewind to the beginning of the record to say, you know, rewind, you know, and then start the record over to hype everybody up. But they didn't extend breaks. Because if they extended breaks, then Herc wouldn't be the first one.
Exactly.
So, and Herc extended breaks because the break boys or the Bronx boys would rock. B-boys. Right? So, if that's the case, then even though DJing, and I'm a DJ, is the centerpiece and the cornerstone of hip hop, it's not. It's kind of, but it's really the b-boy.
Exactly. So would you say? Because one thing that Michael Wayne TV was doing that was really cool was he's been going around the Bronx and just interviewing people that were there back in the day and find out their testimonies, and everybody keeps saying Disco King Mario, and he's also asking people, do you remember it being a Jamaican thing? Do you remember Jamaican people being there in early hip hop, and all the bouncers were like, nah, the Jamaican people there doing their thing, and we like the Jamaican stuff. We heard, they're saying that they had never heard a lot of the kids that were breakdancing to Mario's stuff back then, that they hadn't, they knew the Jamaican stuff and the reggae and dub that was going on, but they weren't vibing to it. They were, trying to be like Harlem, you seen all those documentaries.
So I mean, I'm not I'm not as old as somebody like a Herc or like I'm older than I look, but I'm not gonna tell you how old I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Tone and all them cats, and I talked to Theodore all the time, and I talked to DXT, who was a b-boy at one point.
Yeah.
And so was Curtis Blow, and so was Coco La Rock, one of my good friends.
So you never danced with him?
Oh, I was a b-boy.
Oh, you were a b-boy. Okay, so that's great because
I was a b-boy first.
Okay, you were b-boy first. Great. Okay.
Yeah, I was a b-boy first. I'm the global vice president of the Bronx Boys. TVB,
I didn't know that. Okay.
TVG.
I totally didn't know that.
We were created in '74 as a graffiti crew, and in '75 it turned into a rocking crew.
Wow.
We were the first all Latino rocking crew.
That's dope.
Bronx.
That's dope.
And the creator, one of the creators, Batch. He's still around. His brother Abby runs the crew now. He's the global president, and a lot of moves were invented by TVB.
And speaking of rocking, can you explain what rocking means specifically?
Okay, rocking was the original term for what people now call breakdancing. It started out as top rocking, and then floor rocking. It was rocking.
Oh, okay. Really? People were saying rocking. I didn't know.
Well, look at the crew's names.
Yeah.
Rocksteady, Star Child of Rock.
Okay,
We get Rockwell Association. You know what I'm saying?
Oakland Rock.
It was rock. We were rocking. We weren't really. It wasn't b-boying. I mean, I guess you could say b-boy, but we call it rocking.
Scotland Rock, right?
So the rock was very, very. It was rocking. So we became a rocking crew. In '79, when Batch broke up the crew, two of the members from his Burnside division, Jimmy Lee and Jimmy D, asked for permission to do a spin-off crew. So Batch said, "What are you going to call the crew?" And he said, "We're going to call it Rocksteady."
Wow.
So Rocksteady actually was a separation from our crew.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
And it became, and a lot of our crew members went with them because the crew kind of broke up at that point. But it was reformed by Abby years later. So yeah, Rocksteady was original TBB. Legs was a part of TBB, but Legs later became part of Rocksteady proper. A lot of moves were invented by us. The three-step on the floor was invented by Batch.
That's serious.
Helicopters was invented by Abby.
Wow.
The W freeze and pretzel was invented by Trace 2.
Wow.
So yeah, Rubber Band brought contortion to the dance. He became a member of Rocksteady as well.
That's sick.
Bomb 5, legendary graffiti writer and b-boy, was a member of TDB, and he became a member of Rocksteady as well.
Wow.
So I started as a b-boy.
Wow. So do you think there's do you think the connection? Do you think your b-boy styles influenced the music that came later? Because what you call it? Ramel Z was always talking about the fusion of things and him being able to he said he would freestyle to the dancing, the moves. Like he'd be like, oh, he sees somebody doing a windmill, so he try to make his style somehow turn like that. And on the same tip, like with b-boys, with the rocking, do you feel like the moves? Because it's interesting because people say flares and stuff like that. Now, those flares, the actual move, they have no relation to each other. it's just kind of interesting to see the elements. I mean, things within the culture being, you know, broken down into these specific moves and techniques, and you know, like, do you think there's any type of influence with you being like, hey, I got this down? Like, was it like that in the early DJing?
Well, keep in mind, you know, when I first started DJing, there was no really, the most complex scratch was probably a chirp.
Exactly, okay.
Transformers were invented by Spin Bag in the mid-'80s.
Yeah, so that was the first time you heard that? In the 80s?
I was already DJing.
Exactly.
So, I mean, Grand Dragon KD, when he did bring the beat back, was the first time I heard a Transformer on wax. Even though a few months later, Jeff released and Will released Live at Union Square. But the first Transformers I heard were on the breakdown of Bring the Beat Back by Grand Dragon KD. And I'm like, oh wow! And you know, they were crude because they weren't as sharp as a cutoff. Yeah. But they were there. They were dope. So I immediately started trying to emulate it, and I got it pretty fast. But and then I did it on the Public Enemy radio.
Yeah.
But back in those days, the only way you learned the technique was to listen to a record and try to replicate what you heard. Because there was no video, there was no DVDs, there was no YouTube. So you kind of listen to it like, how can I make that sound? And you had to be real specific because even though the crab scratch and the 2-click flare or the organ
90s stuff
could sound the same. Because they have the same cadence, they're not the same scratch.
Exactly. Yes, there's a lot of sound alikes.
Right. Like the Aquaman scratch and the boomerang.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like a lot of older slices. It's literally a lot of slices and chirps, and they'll smoosh it together and call it something new.
Well, yeah. Boomerang is like it's kind of like a orbit and a tear, kind of mixed together. You do it forward and then you do it backwards.
Exactly.
And the only difference between that and the Aquaman scratch is that you start with an open fader on the boomerang and a closed fader on the Aquaman. So. But it's important because that first scratch, instead of going da-da, it goes, you know, this is Aquaman, it'll go ya-da. You know, because that little thing.
Exactly, it's that little sound,
that's the difference between, that's the difference
the
between
open fader sound, exactly.
The sound and the closed fader sound. Because you're kind of sliding as you're closing, kind of like almost like a chirp.
Exactly.
But almost like you're doing 2 chirps. It's almost like a reverse transformer.
And that's dope that you're one of the few DJs. Because you know, there's the DJs that were DJing before the open fader sounds came out, and then the DJs became after the open fader sounds came out. Because everything was pretty much. I mean, chirps are open faders. You're saying I'm an old DJ, and old DJs don't talk like. No. I'm just saying it's dope to see a cat that's constantly updating their techniques. Because a lot of DJs, you know, they have a certain year, a certain level, and you're gonna anytime you check on them, they're gonna still be at that level. And then, you know, I run into you, I see you, and I'm like, wow, cats dropping flares, dropping different things, because, you know, a lot of cats are like, hey, I'm cool, I got my transforms, my chirps, I'm good. I can drop records, transfer. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with just keeping the older scratches, but like even a lot of my friends, we all came out of the 90s, and most of my friends, they're still DJing how they DJed back in the 90s, you know.
I created a chart.
Oh, dope.
I call it, it's like the earthquake. Earthquake system.
Yeah, like seismology.
Yeah, right. So you know, there's a category. You know, well, actually, there's really Richter. It's a Richter scale. Yeah. But it's more like a hurricane. Categories like you know, category 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
Or like a tornado. Right. So I came up with the categories. Category 1 would be there's a beginner category 1, and then there's a veteran category.
So tell me about that.
Beginner category 1 is a very new beginner. They're just starting to learn. A beginner category of old school category, a veteran would be you fell off totally and you had to basically having to relearn.
Exactly.
And category 2 would
be because the skills can go away after time. It's not like you get rusty. You know,
it's a perishable skill. Kind of like shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Category 2 for a beginner would be I know the basics. And I could cleanly do basics, but I'm trying to learn a little bit more advanced stuff. Category 2 for a veteran would be someone that is not as good as he used to be in his prime, but not exactly totally full. He's kind of rusty at where he used to be.
Exactly.
Category 3 would be someone that's starting to get to advanced scratches on the new level. He's doing well at advanced scratches. He can put most of them cleanly. Category 3. For the old school DJs is somebody that is just as good as he was when he was in his prime.
Wow, yeah, exactly.
Category 4, and the new dudes would be somebody that's up to date, consistent, and can do all the new stuff. Category 4 as an old school DJ is someone that has surpassed what he used to be good as and is now current.
Dope.
Category 5 on both of them are people that continue to innovate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And
that's
that,
dope.
And that doesn't have an old school or new school.
That's dope. That's a dope system.
So
yeah.
I came up with that. Rob was like, "Why do you have to rate anybody?" I said, "I don't have to rate anybody."
Yeah, no, I think rating is important.
But people
you know,
people tend to rate. So if you're going to rate, at least rate them on a
and if it's a science too, it's good to be able to have. If you don't have thresholds and being able to, then everything kind of becomes subjective. Where it's like, how can you, especially with battles and stuff, a lot of DJs are objecting to a lot of the rulings these days. And so that means that battles might need to have more criteria, more specific things, because it's like, hey, why was it dope? Why was it funky?
Well,
what is funk?
I'm a judge a lot in DMC.
Oh, okay,
and I
how do you feel about that? Yeah.
Sometimes people can be technically great, but their routine was whack.
Oh, okay, yeah, exactly.
The thing is, one thing that's never changed, your record selection got to be dope.
Exactly.
Now, if you DJing some song that nobody heard, then you could sit there as a professional and say, I know what they're doing to manipulate that record. But if somebody's manipulating The Bridge by MC Shan, we all know The Bridge. So when they're doing that, it's like, yo, did you hear what he did to The Bridge? Now, if he has this custom record that nobody heard of,
exactly.
How do I know that he's manipulating that, or how do I know it's not built into
exactly? Yeah, because now they got the things with the extra delays in it, where it's like, you just play it once, like Richie Roughtone has a records where it's like, I didn't know that he had that on his records, where if you just go like, it's like, da 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 da, it has the delay on it. It has an effect on the sample. Like it has the sample twice, and then the sample again with the effect on it, like doubled up or something. So if you don't know and the person drops it, you just think they're cutting really fast and they're doing something crazy, but really they're just
Crazy did that, and Crazy's dope. Crazy did that in that routine where where he's scratching the chime from It's Yours, and he has the stutter effect on the mixer on.
Oh, okay.
So he's not using the fader. It's like, but I know he can do that with the fader anyway. So I'm like, he's doing that for effect because he's doing things with his body. But I know he can do what, even if he didn't have the effect, I know he can make that sound. So it's not like, he's cheating. He's doing that for effect.
And how do you feel about all the new stuff being involved? Because we've had some battle DJs on here before, and some of them feel like that, they wish that all the buttons weren't really involved in it these days, because now you can tailor make your own set where everything's perfect, so you can just be like,
I don't mind buttons. I'll be honest with you. As long as the buttons aren't the focus of the routine. There was a DJ who won one of the battles, and that particular DJ had a dope routine, but the juggles. It's one thing to stage the juggle with the button. So you hit a cue, and the beginning of your juggle starts there, and then you get busy. But when the buttons become part of the juggle, there's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now that
you can't do it without the buttons.
Right. That being said, it's always an exception. Precision does a juggle with Star Wars, and he uses the buttons, but he plays he makes it as a beat. So he goes then he juggles. He chases. But he's still like he's using the buttons to rock the beat. But when it's time to juggle, he's juggling.
Exactly.
Now, if you're gonna use the buttons to set up every piece of the juggle, then you're not really juggling now. Now you're triggering.
Exactly.
So,
like an NPC battle or something.
That's cool. In its own.
Exactly, because some people that's a whole other thing when you're like a NPC battle versus a DJ battle.
So now it's like, what are we judging you on? How good your routine is? Your routine is phenomenal. How much did you actually DJ? And then you go back to the DJ David versus Qbert battle. But Qbert loses, but because DJ David actually gets on the turntable and does a handspin.
Okay, exactly. Yeah, when he did that. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he did the thing.
So he's doing the handspin, and Qbert's like, he beat me not even doing the DJ move. It's great. You're a good b-boy. You're a great b-boy. You just did
showmanship. Yeah.
But
that's a category. Showmanship should be. I think showmanship should be a category.
But that particular move, while it was a showmanship move, it was a showmanship move that had nothing to do with DJ.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it wasn't a DJ move. It wasn't like it didn't make an extra sound. It wasn't like he had it because he was just doing that at the end.
He took the record off.
Yeah, exactly.
So the thing is, if a record was playing.
You're right.
And you got on it and you spun around while, and then the record was like spinning fast.
Yeah.
That
would have been sick. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That'd be.
But did he have the thing on fire too? Was that him?
No.
He had the cross. That was somebody else.
That might have been DJ Swamp.
DJ David did that.
David did the round.
But he might have done it another year. Because one year somebody had the. I feel it was like from Germany. I feel like DJ David had the crossfader on fire and he's like like that.
But he's still moving. But he's still moving the crossfader.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, that's a DJ like move. You doing a handspin. That's like me getting on the thing and doing it like a 1990. That'd be great.
Yeah, it's like you're dope.
But it's not. Now, if I did a 1990 and on every revolution I moved the fader over or something, all right, now you're doing DJ moves while you're doing a 1990.
So speaking of the 1990, back to my question before. Back in the day when you were rocking, and you were like, okay, he got. Were people talking about the names of the moves back then, or were they like, oh, that's he's got that helicopter, he's got that. I want to do a helicopter and this too.
I mean, we kind of separated them. They were like, we had air moves. Air moves was anything that was done when your feet weren't touching the floor.
Oh, okay.
Like like now a flare would be an air move. That would be considered power, but we would do a move like a swipe with one leg, swipe, and then we kind of swipe and move around. That's an air move. You know what I'm saying? So it's like do air moves, and it was kind of generalized.
And so when did you see DJing kind of get like that? Was that the 90s
or
the 80s? People were starting to get like.
I mean, we used to call we used to call what we call now stabs, cutting. Cut. That was a stab.
I say stab.
And baby scratch, jiff. I didn't call it a baby scratch. That was just a rub.
Yeah.
I mean, Transformer was a name. Chirps had a name.
Yeah.
Jazzy Jeff.
Exactly.
Whatever. So the names are starting to happen in the mid 80s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like a lot. But I mean.
And were cats like coming up to you like, yo, what's up, you doing?
Never came up to me.
Oh, okay.
I was an asshole. So
okay.
Nobody messed with me. You know what it is? I was Puerto Rican and I was a very well known b-boy.
Yeah.
So when I started DJing, they like stick to b-boy, stick to break.
Oh yeah.
They didn't want me to on the turntable, so the only way I was able to even get on was to challenge me.
Wow, okay.
So I would go to a party, and I was hanging a lot with Charlie Brown at the time before he became Charlie Brown.
That's one of my favorite rappers.
And Busta, we had a crew.
Johnny Juice, Giggles, Troy, and Daquan.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
What was the name of the crew?
But we had a b-boy crew called the Wild Style Rockers.
Wow, see, that could be a whole movie. That could be a whole movie right there.
It was me and Busta, my boy Miguel, and another guy named Miguel, my boy Gil. Mainly Puerto Ricans, a couple of black dudes, and a couple of mixed ancestry people thrown in.
Yeah.
Busta was Kid Craze. That's the name I gave him.
Oh, Kid Craze. Okay.
He was a b-boy. He was pretty.
Wow, you named Busta. That's crazy.
He was a popper. And he was real good at popping. Real dope at popping. And eventually when everybody stopped doing the b-boy thing, I kept on doing it, but they stopped. I started DJing too, and then everybody wanted to either be a DJ or something. So we started rapping. Most of them guys just kind of said, forget it. Busta stuck around. Then I became partners with Brown. Actually. Wow. So it was the crew was me and Brown initially, because I was Brown's. Brown had an older brother named DJ.
Wow, so this is before LNS. Wow, that's good. What year was it?
84, 85.
Wow, 84.
So me and Brown's brother Hig we were DJ partners, even though he was older than us. And I heard about him from my boy DJ Will, who was also another Long Island dude that kind of mentored me. So Hig became like my mentor after Will, and they're still good friends to me to this day. And then one day I was DJing at Hig's crib, and his brother walks in, and it was Brown, and I'm like, oh, I said, what's that guy doing here? He's like, oh, Brian, it's my brother. I was like, really? So he goes to my school. I hate that dude. I didn't like him, whatever at the time, because we were competing b-boy crews. I didn't like him. Busta was younger than me.
Yeah.
But he was the same age as I was, so I was like, I don't like that guy. He's like, that's my brother. And eventually, he was like, yo, you DJ, he raps. I should be like a crew. Yeah. So we hooked up and became a crew, and then eventually Busta came on board, and we Busta and Brown.
Wow, that's so cool.
And another dude named Ian, East Spectacular. So we were called the Bum Rush Crew. And Bum Rush 2 with me and Brown, and then it became the Bum Rush Crew.
Wow.
And then eventually, later on, Hig's good friend Eric Sadler, who was known as one of the Bomb Squad members.
Okay, yeah.
He had a little rehearsal studio, and he called Hig and was like, yo, they're having a contest here looking for rappers and DJs.
Oh, okay.
Tell your brother and his homeboys to come up.
Yeah.
So we went up, and that was at 510 South Franklin on Long Island, and I moved to Long Island by then. I used to live in the Bronx. So we went out there. It was just me and Brown.
What part of Long Island, like Hempstead?
It was Hempstead.
Okay, Hempstead. Okay.
I was living in Uniondale.
Oh, okay.
And we went out, me, Brown, and Buster couldn't come because Buster was visiting his pops in Brooklyn. I was actually in the Bronx that day too, so I got home, and Brown was like, "Yo, let's go. It's gonna be over." We went with my boy Daquan too, because we needed somebody to take Buster's place.
Yeah.
And it ended up being Spectrum City that was having the contest, and they were looking to sign people. And we thought we were.
That was a label, or that's a
Spectrum City was a group that eventually went on to become Public Enemy.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, so I was like, yo, I'm cool, you know. I thought we were gonna battle as a crew, but it didn't work that way.
Oh,
It was
okay.
kind of like a DMC thing.
Oh, okay,
You
yeah.
went up there and DJ for a couple of minutes. They recorded you. You said your name, where
Oh,
you
okay.
from. They recorded you, and if they liked you, they called you back.
Oh,
And the same
okay.
thing with the rappers. And they picked the records and the equipment. And same thing with they have a little drum machine, and they picked the beats. So they had 2 copies of Funky President and 2 SL13 MK2 turntables.
Wow. I'll put a picture to that, the
1300 MK2s and a Mixman mixer. Either Mixman or Clubman. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It was 85, 86.
Wow, yeah.
So we did our thing. We left. And then like a few days later, I got a call from MC Chuck E.D. Says, yo, you won.
Wow. That's
Come
dope.
through. So I went up there. And they said, yo, we forming a crew. It's called the Kings of Pressure.
Wow.
I want you to be down. If you want to be down. If you guys have other crew members and you don't want to leave your crew, that's cool. I'll give you a week to think about it. I want to talk to Brown. Brown's a little salty at first. Like, I was messed up with your crew. I'm like, well, I'll just tell him forget it. He's like, nah, you know what? Just do it, and then maybe we can get in there later.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I did it. I became a member of the Kings of Pressure. We were signing Next Plateau Records. We released some joints. And then I was getting rides home from Chuck D. I was still in high school.
Yeah.
And then Chuck, I was like, yo, we working on our album. You know, can you come in and do scratching? And I'm like, sure. And he says, yo, I got a cassette. You want to hear it? I'm like, yeah. So we drive in Chuck's, gray Cougar. He pops in a song that comes on, and that's the song that became my Uzi Laser 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She's like, what do you think? I'm like, yeah, I can do this.
Wow.
So like a week later, he came and scooped me up. I grabbed one turntable, a mixer, went to INS Recording, which isn't there anymore in Manhattan, and I laid all the scratches for Yo Bum Rush the show.
And what was that with? What kind of mixer?
It was a Newmark, I think it was a DM 1600 or 1650. And
So people were using Newmarks back then, like okay.
It was the 19-inch rap mount joint.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's 85 or 86, like either late 85 or early 86 when we started recording that. 86, so it was 86. And the album was supposed to be released that year, but Beastie Boys' album was released.
Oh, okay.
And pushed back the Yo Bum Rush, the show schedule, to be released 87.
Wow, okay.
That's why when we released the You Can Get Your single, the B-side had Rebel Without a Pause, which was from the second album, because we was already almost finished the second album.
Wow, before wow, okay.
Right, so that was my start with PE. That was a really super condensed story.
And how did those sessions go as far as like the scratching? Like, was it more like, hey, scratch for 5 minutes and they choose what they like, or was it like, hey, you got this bridge, we want it, and let's just keep looping the bounce or whatever? I mean, because the people aren't looping back then. I mean, I'm talking about as far as like Easy Now, like we just.
This is a Pro Tools.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not. You can't have that function on where you just record and it records within the loop or whatever. But so that's what I'm saying. Like, what was it like? Like, were they just giving you a 5-minute thing? You just went over it and they chose their favorite part?
No, that's exactly not it.
That's exactly not it. Okay, yeah.
We actually did all arrangements at that little demo studio, 510. But when we got to the studio, they would set the auto locate to the beginning of the part they want to scratch. And they would say, listen, tell me what you think. I would listen. I had a crate of records. There was no Rosado with 1,000 records. So I bought whatever records I thought I might be able to use. I listened to it. I'm like, all right, bring it back. They bring it back. And they would set it to auto rewind to get to the location. Auto locate.
So they had that back then. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it didn't. But it wasn't seamless. So it would get to the end and go.
Tape machine. Yeah.
And then start it.
Be like near where it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd go right back.
Back to the time. Yeah. Back to the time.
Go back to the auto locate time. So we would do that, but so it wasn't seamless where you could just practice. So I listened to it maybe a couple of times, and then I would just do what I did. And there's a lot of times it was one take. Like, I was told, we want something that sounds like, this. And they didn't have a record in mind. They would just like make a sound or something. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I think I might have something that do it, and I do it, and they're like, that's it. You know what? I'm like, all right, so let's go back, let's do it again. It's not, that's it. That's perfect.
Exactly how you did it.
Right, so it's like, nah, you know what? It was perfect. Just leave it. But they were really tight with the budget. They were like, you know. So a lot of times when Terminator did scratches too.
And that was all the same mixer?
Yeah.
Back in those days, did you have a preference where you're like, hey, this is my favorite mixer? Or was it just like, hey, the studios, they got this really expensive mixer that's hot?
I bought my mixer.
Oh, you brought your own mixer? Okay.
Yeah,
that's what
I don't know what you think.
That's what I'm saying.
Back in those days.
That's what I'm saying, because back in those days.
First of all, there was a hip hop studio.
Yeah.
So the studio, we recorded at either Chung King's House of Metal,
yeah,
or we did INS. INS didn't have a turntable there.
Mm-hmm.
You had exactly. Stuff. I mean, they had a drum machine, they had SP1200 and stuff like that, and S900, and S950, but no, they didn't have equipment like that. They had their own stuff. Chung King had an old ass 1200 and a mixer missing knobs. It was like Bobcat's old mixer or something.
Yeah, I got to record there once over by the water over there.
This is way before that. This is when
before it was over there by the
it was on Lafayette Street.
The tunnel. By the tunnel. Oh, okay, it was on Lafayette. Wow,
yeah, matter of fact, it was crazy because the elevator, when it got to the floor and it opened up, there was another door that you had to ring. Wow. You were in the elevator for them to buzz you in. And the floor below had like a kung fu school. So there was parts of the elevator with you would open up and then it'd be kung fu people practicing. And the stairs, you had to be real brave if you wanted to climb the stairs. There were stairs missing and all types of stuff. That's the chunking I'm talking about. When you walked in, everybody had their name tagged on the wall.
Wow,
so, Beastie Boys had the name of the LA Posse. I
didn't realize that because when we were talking Chunking Studios, I thought it was always the same place. I didn't realize they moved location.
Wow, that was Chunking, and then we walked to the corner. We called it the Roach Store. We go to the Roach Store. Eric, he's like, yo, go to the Roach Store. Those are good old days.
Wow.
But you would bring your own stuff, really, if you wanted to scratch. And eventually people would leave mixers and stuff. And then eventually a lot more rap started happening. So I guess studios started buying the equipment. But it wasn't like there was a lot of mixers to choose from. Back in those days, Newmark was probably the mixer, or GLI PMX 9000. But the problem with the GLI is they had an assign button on each side of the fader.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to go
if I accidentally hit it,
you'd hit the assign button, and the assign button was just like this, and it spun this way. So you probably wouldn't knock the assign out because it was pretty tight, but it was in the way of the fader.
So
and the fader wasn't like this. The fader was it was like this.
Oh, the other way.
Yeah, so it was like.
Oh, that's weird. That's crazy. Yeah,
it was a different type.
It was like some weird thing. Yeah, that's crazy.
So GLI PMX 9000 was the mixer that was on the cover of the UTFO album where he's like this. That's the one he has.
So the GLI.
Jam Master J used that movement. The mixer was dope. That was used in a lot of clubs. And the Bozak, obviously, but the Bozak had rotary knobs.
Yeah, we'll put links to those. That's sick. So for you and your career as like a turntablist, how fast did you see the change in the mixers? Because for me, I just got this new people have been using Rain for years. Like my Vestox just broke. I was using it for like 20 years almost. Did you see yourself going through a lot of mixers? Were there period I'm curious about your whole career.
We couldn't afford. See, it ain't like now. You could buy relatively cheap. Like what really saved the turntablist movement? I know it sounds weird. Gemini.
Wow, back in the
with the Scratchmaster mixes.
Okay, yeah, I had one. I had Gemini Scratchmaster. That was one of my first. Because when I had a Realistic at first, that was my first mixer, like a Radio Shack Realistic, and then I had a Scratchmaster.
They used that shit in a DMC. I was in a DMC East Coast finals. It was me, Lightning Rich, and the rest. So Rich was real dope from Philly. Dude is a pioneer DJ from Philly. Ridiculous. He was kind of the dude that kind of innovated. Like breaking down the record.
Okay, yeah.
He did Melly Mel's Pump Me Up, and he was like, I broke up, man. Like Jazzy Jeff does that a lot. That's Rich did that for
us. What Rich who?
Lightning Rich.
Lightning Rich. Oh yes, Rob Swift was talking about me.
Lightning Rich is dope. I battled Rich. Rich won that battle.
Wow. What was the battle? What was the call?
It was DMC.
Oh, DMC. Okay, because I don't know if it was new. Did you ever do New Music Seminar?
Yeah, I battled Scratch. Head on 88.
Wow.
Scratch ended up winning.
88.
Yeah, I think I did well, but I had my record stolen that night, so I actually used somebody else's record.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was at the Ritz, which is now called Webster Hall. And
you think that was random, or you think that that might have been somebody that's down with his people?
we actually performed as Public Enemy that night.
Oh, okay.
So I was serving a dual function.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I had records, and there was a room that we all had our stuff in. And there was a lot of people coming in.
Okay,
So it could have been anybody. And I don't think it was purposely just
Oh,
checking
okay,
Juice's
okay,
records.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
thought,
yeah.
oh, shoot, records.
Yeah.
Took my needles and everything.
Oh, man.
So yeah, it was whack. But they also used that New Music Seminar that year. Also was a GLI PMX 9000. And in a coffin, so it was screwed into the rails that were slightly elevated, so it separated the turntable. So if you try to go back and forth real fast, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I mean, it was a dope battle. That was the year Melly Mel and Mikey D battle.
Wow.
Mikey D won that year's battle. Melly Mel won the year before. So
Wow, so they're having rap battles at the same time.
Yeah, it was
along with. I didn't know that. I thought it was just a DJ battle. I didn't know that they had the whole.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. They're having like the rock and b-boy battles too.
Okay. So Mikey won the MC battle. I was standing right next to Mikey before he went on stage. He said, "Juice, if I lose, I'm gonna stop rhyming forever." And he won. He ended up beating Raven T from the Dismasters in the finals, which was a dope battle. And then Mike, after he won, Melly Mel came on stage with Grandmaster Caz, and Caz was just like a WWE ref. And they had the belt from last year. Mel said, "This battle, whoever wins takes both belts home."
All right.
And Mikey roasted.
Wow.
But Mel took both belts anyway. Like what? And left. And I was like, wow, I was a Bogart. I was there.
Wow.
Stetson Sonic performed that. They were supposed to perform that night. They didn't because we went over time. Daddy O ended up destroying the stage. That was an interesting year. But it was a dope battle. I was in the battle. Like I said, me and Scratch.
And what year was that again?
88.
Oh, okay, 88. That's dope.
I was supposed to be in the battle the year before, but I was weird. I had chicken pox.
Oh, man.
And Hank Shockney came to pick me up, and I walked to the door. I couldn't even move. He was like, "Oh my God, stay back." He's like, "All right, cool. I just tell him you can't make it." I was done. I couldn't even move. I had chicken pox on my feet.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
So as far as battling, like for me personally, I feel like, because you were mentioning Craze, to me, by like 2000, like when Craze was winning 2001, I feel like most of the styles that people are doing had already been done. Like at that point, to me, that was like I was seeing like, oh, these are new styles. Like I feel like the past maybe 17 years, cats really, besides like, oh, I'm hitting triggers, they're still pretty much doing all the same styles that people have been doing
pretty much
the whole 30 years before that.
Eventually, it's going to start. People will start recycling. I mean, the last, I think, real dope DJ that really had his own real style that wasn't anybody else's. That's hard to say, man. Like Flair is still inventing things out on the West Coast.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's a cool. I mean, I met him. He's kind of weird, but he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
I was out there with the Bulletproof Scratch Hamsters this past February.
Oh yeah.
I went out there to visit family.
Was Quest is with that?
Yeah.
Quest. Yeah.
So I went out there and I ended up hooking up with Mars One.
Oh, sick. Amazing artist.
Yeah.
Amazing artist.
So he hit me up.
Scratch and visual.
Dope.
Both.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I was meaning. Like he's a great scratcher, but his visual art is like
dope.
Out
Super
of
cool
control.
dude.
Yeah.
So he saw me on Facebook. He's like, "Yo, you in the Bay? Let's hook up." So I did. I went to his house. We hung out. Had a little scratch session.
Dope.
And I think that's important. I don't care how long you've been doing this, because like you said, at a certain point, DJs stop trying to progress. Like
Exactly.
Jazzy Jeff is always dope.
Exactly.
But Jazzy Jeff is a dope DJ stuck in 1991.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's still doing what he was doing back then. Yeah,
he won't do any
Bad Meaning Good,
multi-click flares.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He won't do crabs. He won't do that, and he doesn't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
He's earned every right to be as big as he is. He's dope. He's one of my favorite DJs and a real super cool dude. So he do Cash Money. Probably like overall probably the greatest.
Oh yeah.
Turntablist.
Yeah.
I mean, can he do the new stuff people are doing now?
No, he's amazing. I like did you see what he was doing with the 50s and the 60s music?
Real
and all
dope.
that? Nobody's doing that.
So he's
stuff.
still innovating.
Yeah. To me, that's innovative.
Maybe not necessarily in technique.
Yeah.
But in stylistic.
Exactly.
And he's still Cash Money. The thing is, some DJs you don't know who they sound like. They all sound like either a Qbert clone.
Exactly. Yeah, like a mix of like, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because when you see a DMC now, it's like, oh, okay, they just did they're doing like that like Jazzy Jeff, and they're doing that like DJ Scratch, and they're doing that like Rock Raider, and they're doing that like that. You know, it's not like, oh look, they just did some new thing, and everybody's doing this new jungle type of thing. That is, all the patterns are pretty much been done before 2002.
Right. But then you got guys like Total Eclipse, who is still ridiculous.
Oh
yeah. And then Rob Swift is, you know, one of my, you know, when I came out of the military, you know, I stopped DJing for a while because I was injured when I was in the military. I'm a war veteran.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was in the Gulf War.
So. Gulf War, my uncle was too.
Right, so now you're old people. So, you know, and I don't tell a lot of people this, but I'll say it now. I was paralyzed from my neck down.
Oh my God.
So I had to learn how.
And it all came back. Wow.
You
had to relearn.
I had to relearn.
Oh,
I had to relearn how to do everything. I had to learn how to walk. So I already learned how to do all those scratches before I went in the military, and then I had to learn them again.
Wow.
So I had to relearn. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. You know, I learned. I came back. I said, I started listening to people that were out. I started buying DMC videos.
Wow.
I started watching. Somebody let me a DMC video. I watched it. And I saw the X-Men. So I ran into Rob.
Wow.
And the executioners. They were signed to Loud. I was there because I was supposed to be working with Pun. I went to Loud with Brown, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
And I was walking in Loud. The executions were leaving, and I recognized them. That's Rock Raiders. So I'm like, yo, I love you guys. You guys are a big influence on me. Like, yeah, cool. And Rob says, yo, that's really nice. Thank you. He goes, what's your name? I'm like, oh, Johnny Juice. You know, he's like, wait, Johnny Juice Rosado? I said, yeah, why? You know what I mean? He's like, yo, can I get your number? I gave him my number. We spoke for like 3 hours.
Sick.
So he's like, I used to listen to your radio show all the time when I was growing up, and I watched you. And he went to the seminar the year I did. And he.
But what year was that you won?
88. No, I didn't win.
That you were there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to. Actually, the day before that, we performed at Irving Plaza.
Sick.
So it was Public Enemy, Kings of Pressure, True Mathematics, a lot of Bomb Squad related. The original concept, you know, and I did a set where I was standing on top of the turntables. I was bullshitting in my leg. So Rob saw that, and he was like, it was him and his brother and Psycho Les.
Yeah.
And he said, I followed you around the club the whole night. And I'm like, why'd you come and say what's up? Well, he wasn't Rob Swift.
Yeah.
But still, you know, I said, you could have said what's up. He said, no, I just was watching everybody you were talking to. And I think that night we went to Eddie Murphy's crib and hung out. So I said, you could have been hanging out with us at Eddie Murphy's crib.
Right.
But, and that was the day before the new music song.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, I mean, so Rob was there. So when I came back, I'm going to tell you, I told him, I said, listen, man, I've been watching your videos and trying to learn what you guys do. So he was like, well, that's dope, you know. So you never stop learning, you know what I'm saying? And there's, you know, why, you know, you can't just be there so full of pride and arrogance that you can't learn from somebody new.
Exactly.
You know, so I watch all the battles.
That's dope. I didn't realize that.
They're dope, and I'm like, all right. I see a new technique. I'm like, let me try that. And even though I can do almost everything that's out right now, I don't have to. So I don't.
Exactly.
I do what sounds like me.
Exactly.
And I scratch.
But the thing is, what sounds like you is what the sounds that you made, or what everybody listened to, that influenced everybody that's, you know, out that's doing stuff today. Because you know, even just you know, when like, even if somebody doesn't know your name as an artist, they're still influenced by you. All these DJs and all these scratch DJs, because it's like there weren't that many records back in the day. You know, it's like Johnny Juice, Johnny Juice, Johnny Juice,